Oh boy. Okay, so the LG C9 launched in stores back in April as one of the best OLED TVs on the market, and it still is. In fact, it might even be the best out right now. Why? Because G-Sync certified. Now the C9 already had variable refresh rate, but LG sent out a firmware update just days ago that gave it G-Sync certification after partnering with Nvidia. And since all the HDMI ports on the C9 are version 2.1, you can take full advantage of this TV's 120Hz refresh rate and 2.4 millisecond color-to-color transition response time at full 4K UHD resolution via the instant game response mode that kicks in as soon as you switch inputs. So if you picked up the C9 already for the sake of future-proofing, well, that future's here now, so congrats. You made a wise purchase decision with all that money you dropped. Maybe everyone should call you Jeff Bezos. You know, cause he's rich? How stupid. There's just one catch. Current top-tier PC video cards don't support 4K UHD at 120Hz over HDMI. They only support 4K at 60 or 1440p at 120Hz. Unfortunately, my source device, which in this case is a gaming laptop with an RTX 2080 Max-Q, isn't quite enough to drive 4K UHD at 60 FPS, but I was able to get the full 120Hz by dropping the resolution down to 2560 by 1440. And even though I wasn't able to hit 120 FPS on AAA titles, holy crap, does gaming feel and look good. I mean, really, really good. No ghosting or screen tearing, just a super smooth gaming experience. And since it's got a 10-bit panel that supports true HDR10, Dolby Vision, HLG, and advanced HDR, games that support HDR look absolutely insane. Like, I've never played games in HDR on a 10-bit OLED display before I got in the C9. Maybe I'm still in the honeymoon phase, but with that refresh rate, response time, and HDR in games, man, I hope this honeymoon lasts forever. And gaming isn't the only type of content that looks awesome. Doesn't matter if it's HDR or SDR. Movies and shows look crazy good since OLED produces perfect contrast, the deepest blacks available because, you know, pixels are actually being turned off, and colors that look absolutely stunning. Now, there's a bunch of picture modes to choose from for both SDR and HDR content. For SDR content, personally, I prefer and actually recommend using either of the ISF expert options because the color calibration is almost perfect without using a colorimeter to custom calibrate the picture to your specific environment. For HDR, I prefer and recommend Cinema Home over standard cinema simply because I prefer the brightness and contrast values better. And for gaming, I prefer cinema because I feel like it doesn't overdo the image with saturation. Now, because LG's new A9 chip does such a good job at processing images and doing a bunch of behind the scenes AI computing to produce the best possible image regardless of the input source, I actually leave AI picture enabled. So as time goes on and it learns from everything I watch in different lighting conditions, it'll slowly start to give an even better image quality than it has now. And AI brightness has been a godsend for late night viewing. So instead of blasting my eyes with 1,000 nits of brightness, it'll actually adjust the brightness and contrast curve instead of just dimming the whole screen. This way we still get a balanced image that looks fantastic while not going blind prematurely. Like, I don't want to get cataracts just because I liked watching TV at night when I was younger. That makes me sound really old. Adulting sucks. Anyways, I know a lot of people are pretty worried about investing this much moolah on an OLED when there's a potential for screen burn-in. Personally, I'm not worried because I think it all comes down to mindful viewing habits. Like, if you watch stuff like sports or news that have persistent static images like team scores or news tickers for hours and hours and hours on end, yeah, eventually you'll get burn-in. But even rtings.com did a test where they ran static images on a bunch of LG C9 OLED TVs for literally thousands and thousands of hours before they started to see any image retention. That's the same image for thousands of hours. No one does that. And besides all that, LG's added a few features to help prevent any of that from happening in the first place, with a pretty quick to start screensaver for when you walk away for a bit, as well as screen shift and logo luminance adjustment settings. So there you have it, one of maybe even the best OLED TV for gaming. It's not cheap, but if you want the best of the best for everything and you can afford it, personally, I think it's an investment worth making. Anyways, I'll have links in the description if you're interested, but I think that does it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, show me some love with that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my stuff. But thanks, as always, for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Cheers.